no heaven face. Dante's ghost just wait in empty space. Here lust they whirl on endless breeze. Paolo and Francesca's kiss, a cursed tease. All yearn for love and drop to their knees. Lucky one sludge, kiss up the fright. Cerberus snarls at every bite. They gorge, they choke, stuck day and night. Lethal anchors with scales of gold. Plutus gone, involved so cold. Hands cramped from grasping, never sold. On the swamp of wrath, all rage is loud. Filippo Argenti fights in the crowd. Fury splashes can't drown them out. Heretics burn in tombs of flame. Far in their fire, they scream his name. Locked in denial, no one's to blame. Violence, rivers boil with blood. Minotaur hunts in muddy flood. Murderers scream, there's no more good. Frogs, monsters hide in the snakes below. Ulysses plotting his final woe. They bite, they twist, voices echo. At the bottom sits frozen hate. Lucifer chew when traitors fade. Brewers Judas locked in ice, too late. So night stops deep through rage and sin. I'd scream to flee, but I'm late again. Trying to Google eggs in hell, but it's just us. Tour guides, dead dress code, flames and dust. Welcome to the pigs, no refunds, no trust. I'm stuck in limbo's all sin, but barred from grace. Scholars singing hymns, no heaven face. Dante's ghost just wait in empty space. They whirl on endless breeze. Paolo and Francesca's kiss, a cursed tease. All yearn for love and drop to their knees. Lucky one sludge, kiss up the fright. Cerberus snarls at every bite. They gorge, they choke, stuck day and night. Lethal anchors with scales of gold. Plutus gone, involved so cold. Hands cramped from grasping, never sold. On the swamp of wrath, all rage is loud. Filippo Argenti fights in the crowd. Fury splashes can't drown them out. Heretics burn in tombs of flame. Far in their fire, they scream his name. Locked in denial, no one's to blame. Violence, rivers boil with blood. Minotaur hunts in muddy flood. Murderers scream, there's no more good. Frogs, monsters hide in the snakes below. Ulysses plotting his final woe. They bite, they twist, voices echo. At the bottom sits frozen hate. Lucifer chew when traitors fade. Brewers Judas locked in ice, too late. So night stops deep through rage and sin. I'd scream to flee, but I'm late again. Trying to Google eggs in hell, but it's just us. Tour guides, dead dress code, flames and dust. Welcome to the pigs, no refunds, no trust. kiss, accursed tease, all yearn for love and drop to their knees. Lucky one sludge, kiss up the fright, Cerberus snarls at every bite. They gorge, they choke, stuck day and night. Regal anchors with scales of gold, Plutus gone, involved so cold, hands cramped from grasping, never sold. On the swamp of wrath, all rage is loud. Filippo Argenti fights in the crowd. Fury splashes can't drown them out. Heretics burn in tombs of flame, far in their fire. They scream his name, locked in denial, no one's to blame. Violence, rivers boil with blood, Minotaur hunts in muddy flood. Murderers scream, there's no more good. Frogs, monsters hide in the snakes below. Ulysses plotting his final woe. They bite, they twist, voices echo. At the bottom sits frozen hate, Lucifer chew. When traitors fade, brewers Judas locked in ice, too late. So night stops deep through rage and sin. I'd scream to flee, but I'm late again. And missed the rapture bus, trying to Google eggs in hell, but it's just us. Tour guides, dead dress code, flames and dust. Welcome to the pit, no refunds, no trust. I'm stuck in limbo's all sin, but barred from grace. Scholars singing hymns, no heaven face. Dante's ghost just wait in empty space. Here in lust they whirl on endless breeze. Paolo and Francesca's kiss, accursed tease, all yearn for love and drop to their knees. Lucky one sludge, kiss up the fright, Cerberus snarls at every bite. They gorge, they choke, stuck day and night. Regal anchors with scales of gold, Plutus gone, involved so cold, hands cramped from grasping, never sold. On the swamp of wrath, all rage is loud. Filippo Argenti fights in the crowd. Fury splashes can't drown them out. Heretics burn in tombs of flame, far in their fire. They scream his name, locked in denial, no one's to blame. Violence, rivers boil with blood. Minotaur hunts in muddy flood. Murderers scream, there's no more good. Frogs, monsters hide in the snakes below. Ulysses plotting his final woe. They bite, they twist, voices echo. At the bottom sits frozen hate, Lucifer chew. When traitors fade, brewers Judas locked in ice, too late. So night stops deep through rage and sin. I'd scream to flee, but I'm late again. And missed the rapture bus, trying to Google eggs in hell, but it's just us. Tour guides, dead dress code, flames and dust. Welcome to the pit, no refunds, no trust. I'm stuck in limbo's all sin, but barred from grace. Scholars singing hymns, no heaven face. Dante's ghost just wait in empty and drop to their knees. Lucky lunch sludge, kiss up the fright, Cerberus snarls at every bite. They gorge, they choke, stuck day and night. Lethal anchors with scales of gold, Plutus gone, involved so cold, hands cramped from grasping, never sold. On the swamp of wrath, all rage is loud. Filippo Argenti fights in the crowd. Fury splashes can't drown them out. Heretics burn in tombs of flame, far in their fire. They scream his name, locked in denial, no one's to blame. Violence, rivers boil with blood, Minotaur hunts in muddy flood. Murderers scream, there's no more good. Frogs, fraudsters hide in the snakes below. Ulysses plotting his final woe. They bite, they twist, voices echo. At the bottom sits frozen hate, Lucifer chew. When traitors fade, brewers Judas locked in ice, too late. So night stops deep through rage and sin. I'd scream to flee, but I'm late again. And missed the rapture bus, trying to Google exit hell, but it's just us. Tour guides, dead dress code, flames and dust. Welcome to the pit, no refunds, no trust. I'm stuck in limbo's all sin, but barred from grace. Scholars singing hymns, no heaven face. Dante's ghost just waiting, empty space. Here in lust they whirl on endless breeze. Paolo and Francesca's kiss, a cursed tease. All yearn for love and drop to their knees. Lucky lunch sludge, kiss up the fright, Cerberus snarls at every bite. They gorge, they choke, stuck day and night. Lethal anchors with scales of gold, Plutus gone, involved so cold, hands cramped from grasping, never sold. On the swamp of wrath, all rage is loud. Filippo Argenti fights in the crowd. Fury splashes can't drown them out. Heretics burn in tombs of flame, far in their fire. They scream his name, locked in denial, no one's to blame. Violence, rivers boil with blood. Minotaur hunts in muddy flood. Murderers scream, there's no more good. Frogs, fraudsters hide in the snakes below. Ulysses plotting his final woe. They bite, they twist, voices echo. At the bottom sits frozen hate, Lucifer chew. When traitors fade, brewers Judas locked in ice, too late. So night stops deep through rage and sin. I'd scream to flee, but I'm late again. And missed the rapture bus, trying to Google exit hell, but it's just us. Tour guides, dead dress code, flames and dust. Welcome to the pit, no refunds, no trust. I'm stuck in limbo's all sin, but barred from grace. Scholars singing hymns, no heaven face. Dante's ghost just waiting, empty space. Here Francesca's kiss, accursed tease, all yearn for love and drop to their knees. Lucky lunch sludge, kiss up the fright, Cerberus snarls. At every bite they gorge, they choke stuck day and night. Lethal anchors with scales of gold, Plutus gone, involved so cold, hands cramped from grasping, never sold. On the swamp of wrath, all rage is loud. Filippo Argenti fights in the cloud. Fury splashes can't drown them out. Heretics burn in tombs of flame, far in their fire. They scream his name, locked in denial, no one's to blame. Violence, rivers boil with blood, Minotaur hunts in muddy flood. Murderers scream, there's no more good. Frogs, monsters hide in the snakes below. Ulysses plotting his final woe. They bite, they twist, voices echo. At the bottom sits frozen hate, Lucifer chew. When traitors fade, brewers Judas locked in ice, too late. So night stops deep through rage and sin. I'd scream to flee, but I'm late again. And missed the rapture bus, trying to Google eggs in hell, but it's just us. Tour guides, dead dress code, flames and dust. Welcome to the pit, no refunds, no trust. I'm stuck in limbo's all sin, but barred from grace. Scholars singing hymns, no heaven face. Dante's ghost just wait in empty space. Here in lust they whirl on endless breeze. Paolo and Francesca's kiss, accursed tease, all yearn for love and drop to their knees. Lucky lunch sludge, kiss up the fright, Cerberus snarls. At every bite they gorge, they choke stuck day and night. Lethal anchors with scales of gold, Plutus gone, involved so cold, hands cramped from grasping, never sold. On the swamp of wrath, all rage is loud. Filippo Argenti fights in the cloud. Fury splashes can't drown them out. Heretics burn in tombs of flame, far in their fire. They scream his name, locked in denial, no one's to blame. Violence, rivers boil with blood, Minotaur hunts in muddy flood. Murderers scream, there's no more good. Frogs, monsters hide in the snakes below. Ulysses plotting his final woe. They bite, they twist, voices echo. At the bottom sits frozen hate, Lucifer chew. When traitors fade, brewers Judas locked in ice, too late. So night stops deep through rage and sin. I'd scream to flee, but I'm late again. And missed the rapture bus, trying to Google eggs in hell, but it's just us. Tour guides, dead dress code, flames and dust. Welcome to the pit, no refunds, no trust. I'm stuck in limbo's all sin, but barred from grace. Scholars singing hymns, no heaven face. Dante's ghost just wait in empty space. Here lust they whirl on endless breeze. Paulo and Francesca's kiss, accursed tease. All yearn for love and drop to their knees. Lucky one sludge, kiss up the fright. Cerberus snarls at every bite. They gorge, they choke, stuck day and night. Lethal anchors with scales of gold. Plutus gone, involved so cold. Hands cramped from grasping, never sold. On the swamp of wrath, all rage is loud. Filippo Argenti fights in the crowd. Fury splashes can't drown them out. Heretics burn in tombs of flame. Far in their fire, they scream his name. Locked in denial, no one's to blame. Violence, rivers boil with blood. Minotaur hunts in muddy flood. Murderers scream, there's no more good. Frogs, monsters hide in the snakes below. Ulysses plotting his final woe. They bite, they twist, voices echo. At the bottom sits frozen hate. Lucifer chew when traitors fade. Brewers Judas locked in ice, too late. So night stops deep through rage and sin. I'd scream to flee, but I'm late again. Well, woke up late and missed the rapture bus. Trying to Google eggs in hell, but it's just us. Tour guides, dead dress code, flames and dust. Welcome to the pit, no refunds, no trust. I'm stuck in limbo's all sin, but barred from grace. Scholars singing hymns, no heaven face. Dante's ghost just wait in empty space. Here lust they whirl on endless breeze. Paulo and Francesca's kiss, accursed tease. All yearn for love and drop to their knees. Lucky one sludge, kiss up the fright. Cerberus snarls at every bite. They gorge, they choke, stuck day and night. Lethal anchors with scales of gold. Plutus gone, involved so cold. Hands cramped from grasping, never sold. On the swamp of wrath, all rage is loud. Filippo Argenti fights in the crowd. Fury splashes can't drown them out. Heretics burn in tombs of flame. Far in their fire, they scream his name. Locked in denial, no one's to blame. Violence, rivers boil with blood. Minotaur hunts in muddy flood. Murderers scream, there's no more good. Frogs, monsters hide in the snakes below. Ulysses plotting his final woe. They bite, they twist, voices echo. At the bottom sits frozen hate. Lucifer chew when traitors fade. Brewers Judas locked in ice, too late. So night stops deep through rage and sin. I'd scream to flee, but
You got no birthdays coming up, right? No birthdays coming up, no anniversaries, no nothing like that? Oh, fantastic.
Okay. Can you hear me now? Okay, OBS can hear me now. So, sorry for that very small opener that you only heard them on, but hi, I'm Jack, and welcome back for Dante Alighieri's Canto 33 of the Inferno. We are back after a couple of weeks because I forgot about Valentine's Day until a couple of days before, and blah 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 blah. We will be coming back in a couple of weeks after we finish the Inferno with the Analects, and then alternating between the Analects and Purgatorio going forward after that. So like as we are doing this, and I do apologize for the mute because apparently when OBS updated, it changed my default mic. Fucking program. But we are going to be getting into Canto 33 as we have just recently passed through the circles, the into the final circle of hell and are approaching Satan. We are getting to the most surreal portion of the text. So I will remind those who end up watching that there is a lot of secondary, tertiary, and quaternary meanings within a lot of the things that are being said to be physically shown. Secondary social commentary, where you have to know a little bit about 14th century Europe to understand certain context clues. I will do my best to point them out. Hopefully, your teacher has helped point them out over time as well, because we are going to get to a certain level as we go going for these last two cantos that it's going to be like somebody saying skibbity toilet in 200 years. It's going to make no sense to almost anybody without research. Like there's going to be certain context clues within this that barely make sense because he is trying to make it as surreal as possible. You're approaching
You've
Lucifer.
got the perfect term
Hmm.
that we would understand that somebody a lot younger than us would probably not understand. Bodacious.
Yeah,
There we go.
tubular, radical.
Yep.
Uh, Indubitably. Yeah, like, we go back through the
Yeah.
things that were said a shit ton before that are very, very rarely said now, and if they are said out of context, make no damn sense. That is some of the things
There's one
we will
thing
be facing. Good.
There's one thing I want to add. We were not here last week because it was Valentine's Day, and Jack did not realize until the very last day that it was not Valentine's Day, or that it was Valentine's Day. And if he would have gone through with this uh,
Canto.
podcast, or what is it, this canto that we've been doing, he would have ended up in this circle of hell of betrayal, and it would have been on Valentine's Day, right as we were starting the podcast.
Yes. And on that note, I think I just heard my wife get home from work, so give me a second to go say hi to her. You guys could bullshit for a couple of seconds. We're about to get started, and as you can see, we're reading straight out of the book today because I cut it to the wrong Miro board.
Oh,
Well, that happens.
so Ancom, how was your Valentine's Day?
It was pretty nice. So we, my spouse and I decided to spend the early afternoon that day playing a Lorcana tournament at a local game
Mhm.
shop.
Awesome.
And then, yeah, and then we went and had dinner with their other partner and kind of just hung out for the rest of the night. It was very chill.
Awesome. Awesome. Well, Valentine's Day is a little bit different here. On Valentine's Day here in Japan, the women actually give the guys the chocolate and whatnot on Valentine's Day. And then I'm required to give chocolate back to the wife on White Day, which is March 14th. So, it's not as
Interesting.
it's not as eventful like going out to eat and doing all this other stuff, but
Hmm.
it's in Japanese culture, it's obligatory culturally for the women to give the chocolate on Valentine's Day, and then it's socially obligatory for the men who receive chocolate to give that chocolate back to the women on White Day, which is that March 14th.
And
Beware the Ides of March, everyone.
that's the 15th, but close enough. That being said,
You know what? It's a day off. I'm fine with it.
that being said, it is also an interesting reason why this subculture changed, and it changed specifically due to, I forget the daimyo's name, but he really hated the Jesuits and decided to split up their holiday. But it was the
Well,
daimyo that's from the prefecture around Kyoto. I just can't remember the guy's name at that century.
Yeah. The only thing is that like it's also very Japanese in the sense of like everything has to be like 100% reciprocal in gift giving. So
I don't
that's
know if that was the intent behind this guy's smacking it to the Jesuits, but if it was, that's just doubly funny because that means he
yeah.
pre-saw your collectivist future 300 years ago, 200 years ago.
Trying to maybe.
It
But
was in the late 17 or early 1800s that it got split, and it was because the Jesuit, oh God, I forget the exact reason, but the Jesuits had pissed off that daimyo by interfering
I
somehow.
don't
I think it was with
I
marriage.
don't I
I don't
don't
remember why.
I don't I don't know how the Jesuits themselves could have pissed off that daimyo because they wouldn't have been able to get into Japan at that point,
They would
and
have
they'd have
only
been
been able to
killed
get
on
into the
sight.
harbor. They would have only been able to get into the
No,
harbor with the Dutch traders.
let's put it this way. They could get into Dejima Wharf. And if you've ever been there, it's a very, very, very tiny island. If they stepped foot off of that property there, they'd have been executed, like on site. Like
This
there'd have
is
been no quarter. It would have just been someone gone up and just literally shanked them right there.
I'm not arguing that point. I was just talking about that. I know that they were allowed on the island, and I know that they did something to piss the guy off. I just can't remember what it was. I want to say it was something around his kid's marriage, like his kid ran away to him type shit, but I don't remember the story. It's been too many years.
Yeah. All I'm gonna say is that if I've seen the island, even though it's been like it's slowly like recessed back into the ocean because of erosion and whatnot, but super tiny. You're talking like super tiny.
Yeah, and they were allowed.
Like
If I
trying
remember, if
trying to get 500 people in that location is difficult.
no, I'm with you. What I was gonna say is, if I remember the edict correctly, they were allowed the wharf, and within 100, I forget what the term was, but it basically came out to about 100 meters. They used their old measurement, but 100
Oh,
meters from the
it was
wharf.
probably yeah. What is that called? It's I remember the end name. It's the Japanese version of Chinese Li.
Yeah,
Like 'cause it's the same style of measurement. It has to do with what is it, using like is it like a wooden cart of some kind, like how many
the
rotations like the
yeah,
tire makes on a cart or
the-
something like that.
one
It's
full
something strange
rotation of
like
the
that.
one full rotation of a cartwheel. Yeah,
Yeah.
because a cartwheel is usually about a meter in circumference, at least
Right.
in hand carts.
Right. I mean, if I remember correctly, the measurement for that is the length in which what is it, a cart moves. That you should do like a full point check on everything to make sure that nothing's broken.
Oh, no. Now we're talking two different ones. You're talking Lee and Ree. That was 3 miles. That was
Yeah.
roughly the equivalent of leagues.
Yeah.
The one I'm talking about is the cartwheel one, and it's basically
Okay.
the buffer zone that any trade area is going to be. Like if you set up fucking
Yeah.
everything on the wharf, whereas anybody else going to stand to buy the stuff off the wharf, you got to give them
Yeah.
pathways.
Hey,
Sorry,
you know
he lives in
something?
Japan, and I used to be a nut
living
about Japanese history. So
li- living here as long as I have, it wouldn't put it past me if there wasn't somebody literally waiting at the entrance, and if a Jesuit died on the street there, nobody would have said anything, even if they were allowed that 100 meters.
well, okay, because you and I and Ancom all know this. For those of you in the audience who don't know, the time period we're talking about, there was pretty much no law if you were a commoner. If the aristocracy wanted to do something to you, they could do it with impunity. And we're not talking like the horror stories of Europe where they did it and it was technically against law. No, it was ingrained in law that you were basically property to the elites.
Well,
I'm being
but
slightly hyperbolic. I'm just in the way that they could treat
here's
you.
the difference. Yeah, here's the difference. The difference is that they couldn't directly oh, okay.
What's up?
What I was gonna I accidentally paused the stream and I thought that the stream had stopped for some reason. So what I was going to say is that it's not that they could just do it with impunity. They had to have a reason, but they could give any reason they wanted to as long as that reason was believable.
Yes, and that reason that had to be quote unquote believable could be he side-eyed me.
Yes, but the thing is that you couldn't say that this guy side-eyed me. You'd have to say that, yes, this guy side-eyed me, but this guy over here that was standing at the corner around the thing where he was out of sight of the person that was side-eyeing me also saw that he was side-eyeing me.
Which in the time period we're talking about, we're being really hyperbolic and obfuscated here, but that was pretty much any other aristocrat, and they almost never walked alone.
Yep. Then there's a reason for that too.
Well, yeah,
we don't.
Yeah, we well, with the way that they treated the peasants, I don't doubt that there was a self-preservation method behind this as well. But it was also like you just never went anywhere alone in this time period, pretty much at all, because this is a time period where the local law and order may be 4 days away. Not because there's that much crime or you live that rurally. It's because police officers, in the way that they were used in this time period, were very centrally located and part of the military.
Yeah, and also if you called them, someone was basically going to die.
Or somebody was going to be put in jail for a very long time. Yeah. You were either going to have that little bamboo pole behind your arms in a jail cell, or you're going to be dead.
And no. I'm saying that a lot of times, if they didn't have prisoners of war, if they had prisoners, this was part of the testing that they would use for the sharpness of their blades. So going to prison meant you were going to die. You just weren't going to die at the location that the police had you at.
Now, that being said, we have gotten the preamble started, and I'm sure anybody who's going to be watching, which probably won't be anybody on the live till we're halfway done. We'll
Yeah.
have gotten here. So, because that's looking at our metrics. If people show up, it's usually somebody like Kyle, and he shows up like an hour and a half after we get started, stays for 20 minutes, and then leaves again. And the only reason I assume it's
Mhm.
Kyle is because who the fuck else is watching us in Louisiana? Like, we do not have a big enough audience to have anybody else in that state.
We have a University of Louisiana student who is learning religious philosophy. Okay,
I mean,
that's
maybe, and
that
I'm
is
very
who
proud
that
for our
person-
lurker if that's who it is. But at the same time, until I'm proved otherwise, I'm just going to keep assuming it's Kyle tuning in for 20 minutes or so. But that being said, we'll get started. As you can see, I am doing this straight out of the book this time because Jack cut it into the wrong Miro board, and I don't feel like redoing it this morning. So we will get started now at Canto 33. It is, as I said, it is the most surreal. It has the most, like, we're getting to the point where it has the most, like, secondary and tertiary meanings. But at the same time, it is one of the easier cantos to read in English. It's one of the more flowing in Italian. Like, I have the sneaky suspicion Dante did a lot of revisions on this one. A lot of, because this one has a lot of like idiosyncrasies in it that I don't think you could get on accident or even on the first attempt if you were intentionally doing it.
All right. And it may flow very well in the Italian, but never underestimate Longfellow's ability to fuck up the English language so hard that it's hard to read.
That is true, but like I said, no, this is one of the easier to read in English, period, regardless of what version, because while it is a lot of secondary and tertiary meanings, the secondary and tertiary meanings are built into very familiar iconography. So it is far easier to implement that iconography poetically into verse. And even Longfellow has trouble fucking up this level of verse into too many these and thous.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So his mouth work. His mouth uplifted from his grim repast, that sinner wiping it upon the hair of the same head that he behind had wasted. And he began, Thou wilt that I renew the desperate grief which wrings my heart already to think of only, ere I speak of it. But if my words be seed that may bear fruit, or infamy to the traitor whom I gnaw, speaking and weeping shall thou see together. I know not who thou art, nor by what mode thou hast come down here, but a Florentine thou seemest to me truly, when I hear thee. Thou hast no eye as Count Ugliano, and this is this one of Ruggiero the Archbishop. Now I will tell thee why I am such a neighbor. That by effect of his malicious thoughts, trusting in him, I was made prisoner, and after put death, I need not say. Okay, so I will stop here because if we were to scroll back into Canto 32 and read a little bit about Canto 32, we would see a very, very odd juxtaposition and jump from where we left off to watching a motherfucker gnaw on another dude's head. Just saying, like, this would be the equivalent for you youngins. This will probably not make a whole lot of sense, but when you look it up, it will make perfect sense. This is like fucking with the puzzle box and meeting your first Cenobite. It just, bam, there you go. You what the hell is this? Oh, because it was, I mean, he's in hell and everything's been really fucking weird and creepy, but he just walked around a corner to a motherfucker doing cannibalism. Like, that's pretty shocking. And on top of that, he's
Yep.
gnawing on a dude's head like an apple. Like,
Yeah, wild shit.
and going back up to the note because it's here and I don't need to fucking think about it. Count Ugliano, I'm not even gonna try to pronounce that damn Italian ass name. Was Podesta of Pisa, raised to the highest of the vices of the ficus of the Republic of 10 years, blah, blah, blah. Now, when you actually get into, because as you can see this on screen, you can see that this was part of the Guelph War that Rich and I talked about so heavily in Cantos 6, 11, and 14. As well as the Ghibellines in a couple of those as well, is when this count history is taking place, and is taking place in the government of Sardinia, and so on and so forth. So, like, this is a very well. Hold on a second, Barbie. What are you doing? Oh, okay. Sorry, my dog was making noises. I needed to figure out why she was doing that shit. She's playing with her cat. But it's very well known. And this person, as you can read, was betrayed by this archbishop. This and this archbishop, in his betrayal, did lead to his death through false accusations. Now, the way that they twisted the words here, again, this is where I say you have to know a bit about 14th century Europe to understand, but a Florentine. Well, yes, that was the generic name for anybody from Florence. To use it in this context, Florence was the den of thieves. Like for any of you fucking nerds in the audience, it was fucking Mos Eisley. A den of villainy and wretched hive you've never seen. Like, it is absolutely insane the amount of, for 4 centuries, this city was basically vilified as the most affluent and aristocratic den of low-born criminals who ever existed.
I want to say, and this is going to sound strange, that I saw the Podesta of Pisa, and I want to say that term was used 15 to 20 cantos ago, and we were talking about it, and we didn't know where it came from, and it's being referenced here now.
Yes, and unfortunately, it wasn't even that far back. It was like 5 or 6.
Could have been
cantos
18,
ago.
20.
No, I'm saying it was like 5
No,
or
no,
6
no,
cantos ago.
no. I'm talking. It's been
It's been a
Yeah,
long time because
it's
it
been
was
a
one of the
long
last.
time.
It was one of the last ones we had with Rich, and it was Rich who was going to look it up. And until you just mentioned it, I didn't remember that it was Rich who was going to look it up. So I never bothered to look it up.
All I know is that that term, what is it, Podesta of Pisa, showed up, and we went on like what is it? There was a good section of conversation we were having. We were trying to figure out what the meaning behind that actually was.
Let me open up a different window real quick.
Could it be that the guy that this count,
It's
Ugolino?
well, no, it's basically, like, I just looked it up. It is basically the 14th century equivalent of mayor, but mayor and judge and like a bunch, it's a bunch of things crammed
So
into one office. that gives
So
them
basically,
even more
it's
authority.
it's a mayor. It's a mayor and magistrate.
More than that too, but yes, it's that and plus, because they
Right.
also
Well, I mean,
control adoptions. There's a lot of stuff on that list they're in full control
here's
of.
here's the thing. And I know that we're talking about Italy or whatnot, but in East Asia, if someone's a magistrate, they're judge, jury, and executioner.
Well,
So,
no, but this included things. This included things that to me would make very little sense. Because like mayors, you have infrastructure, you have certain judgy duties in this time period, etc. Why
Yeah.
are you in control of adoptions? What?
No, that makes sense. No, it makes sense. It makes sense if you think about it from looking at like an aristocracy, seeing whose kid can go live with whose family or whatnot for
No, I
particular
understand it
purposes.
from the modality of control, but in this
Yeah.
time period, unless your podesta was a clergyman, why would it not have been controlled by the clergy in Italy? Like, you can't get much closer to Rome than Italy. Like,
Here's the thing. Like, this could be the segment of the population that wasn't Christian. It could have been specifically for the segment of the population that wasn't Christian. The clergy would
Yeah, I'd
only
have to
be
dig
allowed,
further.
the clergy probably would only be able to deal with people that were baptized within the church at the time. If they weren't baptized within the church, then they probably wouldn't have had authority over them in that sense there. Had they been baptized and, in essence, quote unquote, given that indelible mark, then they would probably have, legal authority over them.
Yeah, you might be right. I'd have to dig further to see if you're right, but that sounds like extremely plausible for the time period.
Yeah.
Just because like it makes sense for the rest of the shit that they did at the time.
Can you imagine a dignitary coming to Italy and then having both the father and mother die for that child? And then that child is like, let's just say from Persia, comes into the area there, that their parents die. Who is responsible for that child? I don't think the Persians would allow the church to take control of that what happened with that child.
You're reading modern enmity into this time period. This was at the beginning of that empire's like shift of Islam. It's at the tail end of the Islamic Golden Age when the Persian Shahs and stuff had like relationships with popes and like would come and stay in the Vatican and stuff. So, I mean, when that one prince's father died when he was staying with the Pope, the Pope handled his adoption.
Right.
So, like, I don't know.
All I'm going to say
like I said, I just have to dig deeper.
All I'm going to say is that with the number of crusades that have happened up until this point here, there's probably a lot of animosity between dignitaries from different regions. And if they brought their kids in there and they didn't want the church to deal with it, could be an issue.
And for those of you who do not know this part of your history, and I don't blame you, the Fourth Crusade ended about 60 years before this point in history. Still technically in living memory, even with their shorter lifespans on average.
And on top of that, it's almost what is it? It's almost what is it? What I'm basically trying to say is that the Crusades themselves, they start out with the worst, and they progressively get better in the sense of the amount of death and destruction that happen from them.
We could argue about that later, because that would be the whole episode if we get into the Crusades, because we have 18 of them to go through.
Yeah. Including the Children's Crusade. Don't forget that one.
And the Albanesian and the Albanian. And, yeah. Like, people forget how,
Right.
Stephen's Children's Crusade was one of 3 Children's Crusades.
Yep.
Like, there's a
That's
lot
the
that
main
goes.
one.
Yeah, that's why I said Stephen's Children's Crusade to make sure that anybody who wants to go look it up can go look it up without us going into it. Because if you just put in Children's Crusade, you're going to get one of 3 in Europe and one of 16 during the time period around the world. Because you guys had a Children's Crusade around the same time period in East Asia, from fucking Korea into Japan. It didn't live, but they tried.
That tracks. That tracks.
Yeah.
Now, the only reason why I say that is that if you're looking at like gore, destruction, like the amount of heinous things done to people, you start with the First Crusade, and that's pretty much probably the worst one for all of those sort of things that would culturally affect another culture that would have been affected by the Crusaders coming into that area.
And I would partially agree, with the exception of the one we're talking about, which is the Fourth Crusade. Because, well, it did not kill as many people, and it did not commit as many horrors, quote unquote, on those people. The horrors it committed were worse. We destroyed their infrastructure. We destroyed their cattle. We basically set back their intergenerational wealth by hundreds of generations. We made entire regions destitute.
Yep.
Like, that's, in my opinion, worse than just slaughtering them, because the horrors that come after that.
Well, it wasn't just slaughtering. It was
no.
There was cannibalism going on. There was,
and in extreme poverty, I bet there was too. That's kind of my point.
The first crusade, the Pope basically said, if you go into the Holy Land and die, you're basically guaranteed a seat in heaven. So basically, every murdering person that was in like a prison or anything along those lines signed up to go to the Crusades, and they were just given free reign to do whatever they wanted in those villages.
To a point, he's correct, but what he's failing to take into account is every Holy Crusade had that caveat given to the Crusaders. But he is right that the First Crusade did draw out the worst of the worst as far as the people who volunteered. The problem is after
just
the first...
because they thinned the herd doesn't mean the original herd wasn't bad.
and the difference here is, while they thinned the herd, they then essentially bred the next herds for the next crusades for the next 300 years. So it became the driving force of a war engine, which is why I say the stuff we did in the Fourth Crusade was special. Because
we did the what is it, the 13th century equivalent of dropping nukes on a country.
Yes. And wait, on top of that, dropping nukes on a country and then embargoing them for the next 25 years.
Yep.
But yes.
Yep.
So basically what we almost did to Cuba during the missile crisis.
Yeah.
Well, except for we drew that embargo out a lot longer, and it looks like dickhead's about to try and put it back in place.
Yeah.
So, but let's not get out of the politics of the modern day. Let's stay on the politics of the 1300s.
Those politics are a lot more palatable anyway.
Kind of.
Yeah. Hey, do you want to go on a tangent for the First and Fourth Crusade? See how palatable they really are?
Hey, 1300 is between those, as I recall.
No, the Fourth Crusade ended in like 1249.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
That's why I said the Fourth Crusade.
Then we're at least 50 years after. We're at least 50 years after the Fourth Crusade. We're fine.
No, that's why I say it's technically in living memory. So,
Right. There's still someone old enough to tell you what human flesh tastes like.
Or smells like. And this is what I was saying is this would be in that time period, in the Middle East around Accra, where they have gone into extreme poverty because of the desolation that was left in the wake of the Crusaders.
Yeah.
Like ANCOM, there is certain journal entries of certain Crusaders who went so far as to kill every grasshopper and locust they came across to make sure those weren't able to be eaten either.
Damn.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. So,
And if you know the region, like the locusts swarm in those regions, like there are times where the total number of locusts will literally destroy like an entire field of an entire crop, and then they'll take and pick up and fly again and fly to an entirely different field and literally eat everything until there's nothing but stalks left of whatever was there.
Yeah.
And they may even eat the damn stalks, like
Yeah.
down to the roots.
Yeah, like I mean, on top of like the whole idea of like locusts being a plague, it's also a extremely rich source of nutrients that has been used in just about every desert region that has ever existed on the planet where they have also existed. And the deserts where they don't exist, there's a different bug that they eat for the same purpose.
Yeah.
Yep. Because
I mean,
it's only
even-
Western-centric idiots who think that bugs are gross. I mean, don't get me wrong, I'm not the hugest fan of the crunchy exterior, but if they're cooked right, they're very tasty.
I mean, even here in East Asia, eating locusts is a practice that was brought back during the World War II here, where they had the rationing of food, especially. So yeah, catching and eating locusts was a common practice after like 1942, like 1942 up until almost like the 50s, and even up until like the 1970s to 1980s. Schools were still going out and catching locusts, frying them, and then selling them as like something to help pay for certain things for the school.
See, what surprises me is that it's still not done because, and this is something I could actually semi-correct you on Japanese history. You guys never stopped eating locusts. It didn't start up again in 1945 when you were talking about. You guys had a thriving locust industry to the point where you actually exported workers to other countries to go get them to bring them back and serve them up. At certain points, they sold for almost as much as ahi.
Mm-hmm.
That's all. Sorry, my chef's background coming out. You're one of the few countries on the planet that have consistently eaten them outside of a desert region.
Yeah. Well, I mean, the thing is also is that you have to understand that how Japan was structured for centuries and centuries with like the kind of like serfdom, if you want to call it that they had. If there was like a drought or there was like a bad crop, that was the source of food that people went to during that time period.
Well, and like I was saying, like it wasn't. It was sought after to the point where you would go to, in an isolationist country, you would send workers to other countries. Like this was it was almost like your guys' silk. You guys would send. I forget what it was. You guys sent workers. I want to say it wasn't Korea because the enmity between Korea has lasted a lot longer than this. But it was either mulberries or something. You went for some dyes for the silk trade back in the day too. I just don't remember what it is now.
Oh, it's the blue dye. That's what it is. There's this particular blue dye that in Japan that's made from a type of like berry and whatnot that they use here was super sought after at the time because like if I'm not mistaken, getting the kind of blue that they got with that was more difficult than getting it was a particular type of navy blue, if I'm not mistaken. It was really hard to find in nature.
Yes, and for those of you, before we'll get back to the reading here after this, for those of you who don't know ancient textiles, blue is really hard to do in most places in the world, most of the time you'll get some variation of either light blue or dark purple. It is very, very hard to get a dark, true blue.
At least before synthetic chemistry came along. And
It wasn't even technically synthetic chemistry, just once we developed a centrifuge. Like, we just had to be able to separate different specific gravities out of things, and we could do it. So what's that, 1850 that the first ones were made that were
somewhere in
like foot pumped?
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
I'd have to look that up. It's been too long since I looked up medical equipment. But if one of you would like to take up the reading, and you'll be basically
And Tom, can you grab that for me?
Sure.
And we'll be reading, but from nevertheless down to and weepest thou not. Basically, almost the whole page, just up till the last two lines that go into the next tercet.
All right. But ne'ertheless, what thou canst not have heard, that is to say, how cruel was my death. Here shalt thou, and shalt know if he has wronged me. A narrow perforation in the mew, which bears because of me the title of famine, and in which others still must be locked up, had shown me through its opening many moons already, when I dreamed the evil dream which of the future rent for me the veil. This one appeared to me as lord and master, hunting the wolf and whelps upon the mountain, for which the Pisans cannot look a see. With sleuth hounds gaunt and eager and well trained, Gualandi with Gualandi with Sismondi and Lanfianchi, he had sent out before him to the front. After brief course seemed unto me forspent, the father and the sons, and with sharp tushes. That's a fun. I'm guessing that word Longfellow uses does not mean what I think it means. It seemed to me I saw their flanks ripped open. Okay, maybe it did. When I before the morrow was awake, moaning amid their sleep, I heard my sons who with me were, and asking after bread. Cruel indeed art thou, if yet thou grieve not, thinking of what my heart foreboded me, and weepest thou not, what art thou wont to weep at?
Okay, so no, tushes does not mean ass. In this time period, it means tusk.
Okay. That makes more sense.
Yes. On top of that, now you know why I'm glad I didn't have to read this section, because Gualandi, Sismondi, and Lafianchi, well, I could say it. If I had to try and say it while also keeping meter, I would have fucked up so bad.
I mean, I feel like I did, because
it caught you off guard.
Gave me a triple take.
Yeah. Because it caught you off guard, but my point is, I could say it, but it's one of those things of trying to sing song something in verse. It comes out weird. Your tongue doesn't want to work in that way. It just is what it is. But now going back to what's actually
interesting, though.
Good.
Sorry, I just noticed something. The Italian, the last name is Lanfranchi, not Lanfianchi. So it's weird that Longfellow decided to replace that R with an I.
Probably because he would have learned this from. He would have learned much of his Italian stories through his translation of French documents. He was better versed in French than Italian.
That makes sense.
I mean, that's just me doing an educated guess, because I know that about Longfellow, and I know that Lafianchi would make more sense within the French dialectic of Latinized language, because Lafranchi would actually come out as Lafranchi, and no, like even they wouldn't want a word like that, like to be associated as a surname, unless that person was of noble blood.
Yep.
For this, you have to understand the arrogance of the French in this time period. Nothing else.
Wait, the arrogance of the French in this time period as opposed to every other time period.
Yes. No. Like dead ass. Like you're talking about a time period when France was so full of itself. They called their king a sun god in certain texts.
Yeah, I remember Louis the 14th being referred to that way.
Yeah, as you go through the French nobility until the French Revolution, it gets pretty bad. It gets pretty fucking bad. So yes, we do have to point out, because everyone thinks about the arrogance of the French today. They're not arrogant today. They're just European. Yeah, they're a little haughty. They're a little condescending, etc. But compared to the French of the olden days, they're downright fucking humble. Like, are you kidding me? English people are more fucking arrogant pricks than the French are nowadays. Nowadays.
Okay, yeah.
Hey,
Now,
they only
perhaps.
recently got
The
their
one
prince
thing-
knocked down a peg. They haven't truly got humbled yet.
Yeah, fair. But the French are still very arrogant about their language.
Yes, and their food, and justifiably so.
Well, the food maybe, the language, eh.
No, and the language, and you should know why I say this, even though I'm not like some great lover of France. They've kept their language.
I got no idea off the top of my head.
They've kept their language as true to their source language of Latin as possible, even through multiple dialectical changes.
Ah, fair enough.
Like, if you're going to be haughty about like almost to the point of being religious about your language, that's kind of a reason to do it. Is I'm trying to keep my language. I mean, I don't really support that overall because of the other implications of where that usually leads. But that's because of sociology.
Yeah.
But if we're talking like actual, like linguistically, that's an impressive feat. Despy, you have a few other languages.
Yeah.
And I know this to be true, so you'll just know the dates better. How many times has the Japanese language changed since the 1300s?
It's probably not even intelligible compared to the 1300s. And the other thing you have to take into account is the fact that basically from the 1300s all the way until the Meiji, which is about like a 550 year period, you basically have it where each individual area, which they call prefectures now, would be an individual lord's like domain, and the only way to move from domain to domain would be to get papers, like government papers, and a level of bureaucracy that would make Vogons go insane. And the thing with that is that because it's so hard to move from location to location, the dialects in those specific areas become unique unto themselves, to the point where somebody that's in southern Japan, even though they're speaking Japanese and they've literally had no outside influence other than maybe the random person from the neighboring prefecture area comes over, they would not be able to speak to somebody like 5 or 6 prefectures away.
And there's a lot that goes into this that we won't digress onto because we will be here all day on it. But
Yeah.
Japan has a very unique topography that allows for significant geographic barriers to allow for linguistic uniqueness in this way, unlike most other places of the world. Most other places of the world do not get this linguistically complex unless it is by cultural design. His country literally had it happen naturally because of all the mountains and impassable rivers and death fucking defying quagmires that you had to try and cross to get from certain areas if you didn't go the government approved ways. So when they highly restrict travel, languages get restricted in their travel as well. But
Yep.
that being said, going back to the reading of this, it is overall very much flowery language, etc., until you get to the names and a couple of keywords. Why this betrayal happened? What led this archbishop to putting this person in jail and getting him stabbed by the archbishop's nephew? Like because there's that. This is leading to a time period when they are discussing, first of all, they title them famine for multiple reasons, but there was actually a food shortage in northern Italy at this time period because of current, very recent wars, etc., in their neighboring hinterland regions. You are dealing with a level of famine due to bureaucratic mismanagement. You are dealing to a level of famine of spirit because this particular person was also, shall we say, rather ungodly for his time period. And the way I mean that is, he probably would have talked like if he spoke English, he would have talked like more like one of us. He was a very irreverent individual. And irreverence in the 1300s was let's just say not good for most people. If this guy had not had the power of his aristocracy behind him, he probably could not have gotten away with the things that he said and did. So it was a famine of spirit and grace as well. That's what I mean by all those like double and triple meanings that this one's going to go into. Gualandi, Sismondi, and Lafianchi. If I'm remembering correctly, these names are of like not men at arms, but what we would more in modern times, because people have seen Game of Thrones and stuff like this. This would be like bannermen. This would be fellow aristocrats that could be called upon, etc. You just came in, pupper. Why are you whining at me? I'll let you out. You are absolutely insane. You are an insane dog. Okay, sorry.
Yeah, I'm looking it up. Sismondi, Gualandi, and Lafranchi were Ghibelline families of Pisa, according to notes.
Yeah, and I was just getting into they were more like bannermen to the aforementioned person. That was all. Because it just to show that there was a relationship. I don't know, like, because obviously we can't know unless there's like historical record of it, and as far as I know, there isn't when I looked it up. I don't know if they were like really friendly or this was purely like military and political alliance, but alliance nonetheless. And what was the other point I wanted to bring up? Oh, the lack of empathy shown here. As we have gotten it, as we get towards the last tercet of the reading that Ancom just did, we get to a almost dispossession of empathy, I won't say inhuman because it's natural after a certain level of fatigue of mental like wherewithal, etc. That you can become apathetic. But the abandonment of empathy within a character within Dante is always important, since almost his entire text is trying to teach the 1300s empathy through a Catholic humanist lens. And I don't know if he was successful, but he was trying really hard. And so this has been a running theme as we have gone on. So like as you start to see a character within the story, be it Dante, be it Virgil, be it one of the damned, abandon empathy, it becomes significant because it's meant to be a social commentary of things that he sees all too common amongst his fellow living human today. Well, 1301, but who's counting? Today for him. uh, and that level of humanism, as Rich and I were wont to argue about on occasion and mostly agree about, was fairly unheard of in this time period, especially within the Catholic Church. In this time period, the Catholic Church was predominated by a more willful, domineering mentality. So humanism was really alien to much of the Catholic Church. And for him to be doing it through essentially a source of blasphemy that could have very well had the church murder him for writing it. Anybody who's reading this in the initial publication date is immediately going to understand the implication of what he's saying here. I have to go into a bit more digression because empathy is a bit more common in modern day. I mean, I know we see a lot of apathetic pricks out there, but like, in this time period, more people would have been Elon Musk's than, the carrying Pope Bob's. They would have been empathy is a weakness. Empathy is you succumbing to the devil type thought. So like this type of consciousness from people in the Catholic world was both revolutionary and dangerous for it, and probably the only reason that the Catholic Church is not as horrible as it used to be. It's just a little less horrible today.
Mm-hmm.
So like it's something to really pay attention to. And if you have a competent professor, he is going to draw this out too, because he will point out that this is one of the most common refrains during the Inferno is the push against empathy and the implications thereof, and the very significant sign of weeping, because that you can't get too much more obvious than fucking tears running down somebody's face. That something is meant to be paid attention to and is emotional. So like he is literally casting a spotlight on it to people like us in the modern times. In this time period, it was masculine to weep. It was masculine to wear makeup.
Mm-hmm.
It was masculine to wear high heels. It was masculine to wear tights. So the things that we view as masculine today are not the same as what it was then.
Mm-hmm.
So like to them, weeping was commonplace. It was normative. The separation of empathy was normative. But Dante casting that as partially a reason that you're going to end up in the deepest, darkest circles of hell, that was not normative. That was, wait, what? To any of you in the audience who got raised in a prosperity gospel fucking evangelical household, this would be like telling one of those families that having too much money makes you evil. It wouldn't make sense to their brain.
Doesn't compute.
They have literally been raised to believe the exact opposite. You just told them water doesn't make things wet. And that's what Dante is doing here. That's why this is so significant. But to us in 2026, we'd gloss over this because this is a normal thought process now. Food for thought that 700 years does a lot for sociological understanding and anthropological difference and cultural differentials and separations of church and state and allowing the populaces to form their own moral codes without influence of external forces like that. So like it changes a lot of how we view these things, going so far down into how we view empathy and masculinity. Weeping now would be very significant for many men because we still haven't gotten over that toxic masculinity shit of our recent past. But to these people, it was so normal. If a man didn't weep in an extremely emotional state, they'd look at him funny. So,
Yeah.
like, and correct me if I'm wrong, this is still true in Japan at this time too, right? That doesn't change till the 1500s for you.
Well, crying is a normal thing in Japan, so
Well,
I mean,
the open weeping of
it's
men was what all I was getting at. I know that it was still restrictive in the 12 to 1300s, but I think it changes in the 1500s for
yeah.
you guys. Because you guys had that you guys didn't call it Stoics. I forget the name you guys had, but you basically like that more Stoic culture where that was meant to be
Mm-hmm.
kept in private at that in the
Right.
previous. It's not that you guys didn't do it, it's just that doing it in public was unseemly. Still fucking crazy to me, but you know what I mean.
Yep.
That being said, that's me trying to remember something I learned 20 years ago, so take it with a grain of salt, anybody who's watching. Because it was one of those things that there's something that happens in a lot of cultures. Almost all of them have a certain era where they go through a level of quote unquote stoicism, using the Western centric term, where public expression of emotions is suppressed, and every culture has different reasons for it. Like I can't even point to one that's a majority of the time why they do it, because each culture it is very unique as to why they end up pushing into stoicism, but every culture does it at some point, at least to my knowledge. I don't know of any culture that hasn't.
All right.
This is
Am I
one.
up next?
You will be. You're gonna have to read these two, and then I'm gonna have to scroll. But I was about to say, we're
Yep.
gonna have to get on you guys because I know you guys don't drink the coffee, but it seems like at least watching Rich brew the coffee woke you all up.
Yeah. Sorry, I got a little sidetracked by something. I didn't mean to, but I got sidetracked by something.
Oh,
So-
okay.
Yep.
No,
That
see, that's understandable, but I thought you were just half asleep. Because you started looking down and to the left, and you started to look a little like exhausted and tired.
Right. Now it was one of those things that there was an issue that came up that was my responsibility, and I needed to basically open some logs and share them with people. So
No, you're good. It was just one of those things. That being said, it allowed for a good joke. Okay, so it will be
Yep.
these two, and then
where do you want me to go until?
well, it's either we go to this and give you a very short reading, which I don't think we should do because there's not a whole lot to comment on it, or take it to the end of the page because otherwise you're cutting off in the middle of speech, and that's always fucking weird.
All right, I'll just
Yeah, and just take it to take it to the end of the page.
I'll power through. It's okay. I'll just do this in a mispronouncing what is it Southern accent. Okay.
Oh, no, you should
All right,
break
is this
out the
where we're
Bobby's
starting
mom.
with this?
Yeah, they were awake now, and then I'll scroll down as soon as
Okay.
you get done with those two.
Yep. They were awake now, and the hour drew nigh, at which our food used to be brought to us. And through his dream was each one apprehensive. And I heard locking up the under door of the horrible tower, whereat, without a word, I gazed into the faces of my sons. I wept not, I within so turned to stone. They wept, and darling little and Anselm, mine
And some, yeah.
said, "Thou dost gaze so, father. What doth ail thee?" Still not a tear I shed, nor answer made, all of that day, nor yet the night thereafter, until another sun rose on the world. As now a little glimmer made its way into the dolorous prison, and I saw upon four faces my own very aspect. Both of my hands in agony I bit, and, thinking that I did it from desire of eating, and a sudden and or on a sudden they uprose. And said they, Father, much less pain 'twill give us if thou do eat of us. Thou didst clothe us with this poor flesh, and do thou strip it off. I calmed me then, not to make them more sad. That day we all were silent, and the next, obdurate earth, wherefore didst thou not open? When we had come unto the fourth day, Gaddo threw himself down outstretched before my feet, saying, My father, why dost thou not help me? And there he died. And, as thou seest me, I saw the three fall, one by one, between the fifth day and the sixth, whence I betook me. Already blind, to groping over each. And 3 days called them after they were dead. Then hunger did what sorrow could not do.
Okay, so
Need you to scroll down. Or is that where you needed to stop?
Yeah, because you got to where the speech line ended. So, yeah, essentially, trigger warning. Sorry, it's coming late, but we're describing a father watching his children starve to death and then failing to commit suicide because he was too cowardly to do so by his own estimation, and then hunger finally killing him as well.
Yep.
Not exactly. Good.
I was looking it up, and Anselm is actually the Italian is Anselmuccio was this man's grandson, not his son. So
grandson.
Kind of makes it. Yeah, well, because he says sons and they call him father, but it's
but grandsons it could be adopted in this way often. So
I'll be right back.
That doesn't surprise me.
The camera. I'll be right back. I can still hear you guys.
Yeah, that doesn't surprise me.
That gives it an extra.
Yeah,
that does give it an extra certain feeling, because parents watching their children starving to death is one thing. Grandparents watching their grandchildren starving to death, that has an extra punch of what the fuck in it.
Well, it does to us. It does to us in modern times, where, well, yes, there are still starving people all around the world. It is not the norm for us to see somebody starve in our lifetime, up close and personal. In this time period, that was far more normal, and it was far more normal for intergenerational families like this to have even more deaths due to the less productive nature of having only the very old and the very young in the same household. So on and so forth. I don't know if culturally it would be the same. I hope it would be. You know what I'm saying? But I don't know if it would be. So we should at least allow for that.
Mm-hmm.
Because we've seen other points in history and other points in the world where they'd have wrote that off as a Tuesday. You know?
Yeah.
So,
and for those who... For those who need some help with Longfellow's archaic language here, the word obdurate generally means intractable, unfeeling, pitiless.
Apathetic.
Someone who is not swayed by emotional argument.
So Spock.
No. This would be something that Bones called Spock when he was pissed off at Spock. It is the derogative
Yeah.
version of the
Yeah.
word.
Right.
Yep.
And Dolorous, if you don't know that, your English teacher in high school failed you. I'm sorry. Like, yeah, it's not exactly
I
fun to
kid
say.
you not. I caught myself because I wanted to say Dolores instead of Dolores.
Well, see, I can understand because it's not a common word to maybe mispronounce it because
Yeah.
it's cumbersome, but not know the meaning of it, man. No.
And a fun little bit of trivia there. Dolorous comes from the Latin dolor, meaning to suffer, and it's also where we get the word for the dollar.
Yep.
So, you know,
Yeah, anti-capitalists
there's
love
some
using that
fun
word.
trivia for you.
Yeah, the dollar literally has the root in the word for suffering. Yes.
Yep.
Entomologically and physically. What else? Oh, okay. So the other thing that we have to look at in this is the portrayal of this, of the children going, just eat of our flesh, just eat of our flesh, telling him to basically kill them so that he may live. This is a contraposition of the norm. First of all, it is meant to indicate a level of idealized familiar hierarchy acceptance, where the children will always sacrifice for the old, etc. If we are talking historical norms, it would have more than like it would have more than likely been the other way. It would have been the elder telling them this because they are already too old and they don't get better from that, so on and so forth. So like this juxtaposition is meant to also make them go, wait, why? Or go, oh, I wish I had kids like that. Wait, what? Why did I just think that? Again, the double, triple, and quadruple meanings that he brings into this, because at the time period he's writing this, certain parts of Italy are going through famine again. So again, he's writing for his time and every other time as well, where he is trying to say, in his very Catholic humanist way, we're not really all that different. And while times change and culture changes, some of this stuff all remains the same. And you need to like actually think about why these things are the way they are. It is for his time period to be, even in the aristocracy, to put this kind of epistemological critique into a social commentary is a revolutionary modality of writing. This is not something that most people are capable of doing at this time period in the first place, and furthermore would be capable of doing it in a way that is accepted by the masses and understood by the masses that read it later. Like this is some Diogenes level fucking genius to do this. And for those of you who don't know Diogenes, fuck you, I'm not teaching you ancient Greek.
All you gotta know is that a plucked chicken is a man.
Yes. Although
Also, if you're
different
trying to sound
Diogenes that I
smart-
was saying, but yes, I was meaning Euripides Diogenes, the playwright.
Oh,
Yes.
not the Diogenes I think of.
but just as funny.
No,
Go
no
on,
pickle
Despy.
barrel. What? No pickle barrel Diogenes. No Diogenes to telling Alexander the Great to get out of my sunlight because you're bothering me.
Yeah, I mean, don't get me wrong. That Diogenes was a genius, but in a different way. That being said, it is. Let me make sure there's not something in this note on 413 because, yeah, we don't need to pay attention to that. Okay, so the reason it's bringing this up, it's talking about a Croft door, but locking of a prison door. Basically, it's talking about the push bar lock that we think of today as what I don't know the name of the latch lock but it's the little one with the bar that you lift up to the middle and then slide and then drop down again. It's that kind of lock, but on a horizontal surface. And it's talking about a cellar door, an undercroft door. It references a prison door, but lots of houses had these because you didn't generally have quote unquote stairwells. You had like a ladder going down into your cellar. You know, it was fixed and permanent. It was like stairs because it didn't move, but it was very steep. It was not like we think of as stairs.
Yeah.
So a lot of places had these doors because you didn't need a standing door that you walked in to get down it because you didn't need that angle.
Well, that makes sense because like if you're putting stairs down, if there's a draft of any kind that's coming through there, that draft is literally going to push all the air up through what is it like the staircase itself. If you have it where you literally have to go down into the cellar itself, like using a ladder, there's no real way for a draft to send the cold air up to the what is it like through the what is it through like a tunnel of some kind.
Yeah,
Which makes sense because like if you're storing food, you're storing wine, you're storing whatever you're storing down there, you don't want what is it, a draft running through there.
Yeah, and you don't want the moisture in the rest of the house because of the damage it would do elsewhere. So yeah, there's a lot that goes into that.
Yep.
That being said, I just had to look because I was like, why is it showing me a big ass long note? Because most people don't know that little trivia bit about medieval fucking architecture.
Yeah.
It's also not important. I don't know why they put a comment in there for it. It's just like,
Well, I mean, it really depends. Like if you are in a location in which you know that the wind is not going to be blowing from a particular direction, or you have like a natural barrier that keeps the wind from blowing in a particular direction, you can put stairs down into a cellar. That you can do that. It's just that the majority of places like that people would put these cellars in there would want them to be what is it where you actually have to like climb down a ladder to get into them, so that they no matter which way the wind was blowing, they didn't have to worry about a draft of any kind.
true. Like I said, I don't know why it's overall important to a commentary on Dante's Inferno, though. Well, yes, interesting. Yes, kind of important for certain other aspects of like a commentary. We're talking about hell, man. I don't, they watch somebody who was split from balls to brain walk around like a fucking croquet hoop. Like I doubt they needed to think about the prison door latch. Like
Yeah.
Yeah.
I just don't think that was probably a necessary commentary they needed to add.
Maybe just a smidge more detail than was required.
Yeah.
And that's coming from me. I'm a pedantic motherfucker. It's like, dude, who wrote the shit? Okay, so now back to the reading because, like, I think we can kind of get through the horrors of like starving. Well, yes, most people in America are not going to understand that fucking that feeling. They understand the horror. They have seen it happen around the world enough. I don't think we need to go any deeper into why a level of betrayal is felt by the people going through it. So, and
Yeah.
that is a lot of what is going on in this is the desperations of man and the betrayals it would lead to, blah 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 blah. Like, I don't
Right.
think we need to abuse the audience with too much of that. Although it does need to be mentioned because your fucking professor will probably put it on the test.
Yep.
So, that being said, we'll move on from that level of horror and move on to some more existential visual horror again. When he had said this with his
Yay!
when he had said this with his eyes distorted, the wretched skull resumed he with his teeth, which as a dog's upon the bone were strong. Ah, Pisa, thou opprobrium of the people, of the fair land there where the sea doth sound. Uh, fucking tongue today. Since slow to punish thee thy neighbors are, let Capraria and Gorgona move, and make hedge across the mouth of the Arno. Let every person in it may down. For if Count Uglino, sorry, I added an extra syllable in there, had the fame, and having of thy castles thee betrayed, thou shouldest not of such cross have put his sons. Guiltless of any crime, thou modern Thebes, thou young maid Eugochion, and Bragata. God, I had to actually think about that. Pronunciation of Italian and Latin is a pain in the ass if you don't do it regularly. If you pick up the habit, whoever's listening, keep it. It goes away quickly. Keep using it.
Let's keep going.
And the other two my song doth name above. We passed still further onward, where the ice and other people rugged and swaths, not downward turned, but all of them reversed. Weeping itself there dost not let them weep. And grief that finds a barrier in the eyes turns itself inward to increase the anguish. Because the earliest tears a cluster form, and in a manner of crystal visor fill all the cup beneath the eyebrow full. And notwithstanding that, as in a callus, because of all cold sensibility, its station had abandoned in my face, and still appeared to me I felt some wind. When my master who had set in motion, is not below where every vapor quenched. Okay. So, we do need to go back for this part here. Because the Thebes was renowned for its misfortune and grim tragedies from the days of the sowing of the dragon's teeth of Cadmus down through the destruction of the city of Alexander, who had commanded to be utterly demolished, excepting that only a house in which the poet Pindar was born. This is why this is being brought here. He is making the accusation that you have destroyed this area so utterly that only a single house remained, although he is doing it metaphorically as opposed to literally in this sense. And I would say that is something we do need to actually take into account, because that is one of those cultural keystones in this time period that everybody would have known. We have to talk about it. We have to mention it. We have to actually like think about this. This would have been like in like street plays and stuff. Like there would have been vagabonds going around singing songs about shit like this. Like everybody would have known this story in this time period. So beyond
Can you
that,
scroll up to the very top
well, this was
where the top of the reading.
this was the top of where I was reading. Yeah.
Oh yeah. Okay. So where it says, the wretch skull resumed he with his teeth, which as a dog upon the bones were strong. Have you ever seen a dog eat a bone.
Yes, and and as we were describing before, that's pretty much what this motherfucker was doing, was gnawing on it like a dog, and now it's describing the teeth grooves in the wet bone. Yes.
Yeah, and here's the thing to keep in mind: when a dog chews on a bone, like quite literally, it's going at that thing like someone who's starving eating an apple. Just pulling it off the tree and just going in as hard as they possibly can into that apple. That's exactly what this guy is doing to the bones of the people around him. He's literally going in
Well, this one not the
and
people
getting
around
in
him,
there
this
like
one
that.
particular head, but
Or that
yes.
Yeah, that's what I meant. The head around him, he's basically going in there like a starving person that was given an apple.
Yes. And this is true for any of you who have never seen this in a dog before. This will happen in a dog that's full, that just ate. It's something about trying to get to marrow and canines. They will try to crack through any bone to get to marrow. There's no marrow in a skull, but they're describing the action, not the intent.
Yeah.
Yep. Sounds about right.
Okay, so
I don't know. I mean, we've had plenty of dogs. We've given dogs
that was for the audience, not
like
you two.
larger animal bones to chew on. Yeah. Yeah. I'm just saying, like I've seen a dog go ham on a bone before, and it is not a pretty sight.
Yeah, yeah. The one that like made me go, oh shit, maybe I should never fuck with a dog that's angry. Was when I watched a Great Dane chewing on a leg bone of a shin bone of a cow, and cracking through the
Yeah.
shin bone like it was fucking butter. I was just like, yeah.
Yeah.
But that being said, the next thing here that was important to comment on is the visualization. Because like the way this is talking about is the tears. He has made so much horror and went through so much atrocity and so much betrayal and so much insanity in his life, even in this death that he is in, the coldness that he is in, the freezing his tears on his face have now turned his tears into a crystal visor, is how this is being described. um
Yeah.
this is to show that even in this horror, even in this um surreal place, this person who is damned is still having to feel the emotions too. Again, something that
Yeah.
was not contrary to Catholic teachings, but contrary to common understanding. Catholic teaching still taught
Yeah.
the emotions were there in the endless torment. But common understanding was that you would not have any emotions, because how could you have emotions in such agony?
Right. Well, all I'm going to say is that if you're crying and you're basically creating a visor from your tears and whatnot, if you've ever been in sub-zero temperatures and you've had what is it, tears of any kind or water of any kind get on your face, you know that it's not just the fact that that stuff is on your face that hurts. It's the fact that it's frozen to your face that makes it hurt even more.
There is that. And as Rich would point out if he was here, the reason it's freezing is because of where we're going to get to next week when we deal with Satan and sliding down the ass crack to get out of hell. Um,
Yeah.
because as we are now in the Lake Cocytus, supposed to be a river, but okay, he didn't know that. He didn't have access to all the Greek classics. But we are in the lake Cocytus. Satan is in the middle, beating his wings so fiercely that he has frozen the water. This is the contrapasso for Satan in hell. He could escape if he would just allow his rage to quell, and for him to stop beating his wings and freezing the water that entraps him and imprisons him here.
It's one of the reasons why we say patience is a virtue.
But like this was again, this is more visual. Like there, yeah, as you can see, there's some other notes up here about the people. They're really overall unimportant because the whole point was the metaphor. You don't need to know the perfect history of the poet Pindar's house being spared. The whole point was you laid ruin this region. It made sense to not focus too heavily except for on the visuals, because that is the social commentary that Dante was counting on being there, because he's counting on his readers to know all this other shit. So, because we don't read about this crap anymore, because it's, a 7th century gap between us and Dante, and 32 century gap between us and the previous story of some of the other stuff earlier in this canto. Yeah, you don't really need to know a lot of that unless you're going to become an ancient history nerd or an ancient history professor. So we will get back to the reading here and back to the social commentary that's more important. That being said, if you have a professor who is a little bit more of an ancient history nerd, maybe go back and read those commentaries. He might add that on there as extra credit.
Yeah.
But we will get back to the reading now. Ancom, if you would like to pick up. I'm going to have to go back, and even though I fucked up Miro, I'm going to have to start adding this into the spreadsheet again and complete what Rich started.
Oh, yeah, actually, I made a copy of the spreadsheet in my Nextcloud, and I've been doing that.
Oh, okay. I was about to say I did too. I just haven't got this week's in. But if you're doing it,
yeah, I did this week's at the very beginning.
Okay. Well, then we were going to go from whence he to me, and we were going to go. Yeah, we can go to this. Go to and eats and drinks and sleeps.
Okay.
And eats and sleeps and drinks and puts on clothes. Just because otherwise we stop in the middle of lines of speech, and that's always jarring. That's why I break up the way I do.
Sounds good. Give me a sec to get back there. There it is. Okay. Whence he to me, full soon shalt thou be where thine eye shall answer make to thee of this, seeing the cause which raineth down the blast. And one of the wretches of the frozen crust cried out to us, O soul so merciless that the last post is given unto you, lift from mine eyes the rigid veils, that I may vent the sorrow which impregnates my heart, a little ere the weeping recongeal. Whence I to him, if thou wouldst have me help thee, say who thou wast, and if I free thee not, may I go to the bottom of the ice. Then he replied, I am Friar Alberigo. Yeah. I am Friar Alberigo, he am I of the fruit of the bad garden, who here a date am getting for my fig. Oh, I said to him, now art thou too dead? And he to me, how may my body fare up in the world, no knowledge I possess? Such an advantage has this Ptolemea, that often the soul descendeth here, sooner than Atropos in motion sets it. And thou mayest more willingly remove from off my countenance these glassy tears. Know that as soon as any soul betrays, as I have done, his body by a demon is taken from him, who thereafter rules it, until his time has wholly been revolved. Itself down rushes into such a cistern, and still perchance above appears the body of yonder shade that winters here behind me. This thou shouldst know if thou had just come down. It is Sir Branca d'Oria, and many years have passed away since he was thus locked up. I think, said I to him, thou dost deceive me, for Branca d'Oria is not dead yet, and eats and drinks and sleeps and puts on clothes. In moat above, said he, of Malabranca, there is a boiling tenacious pitch, as yet had Michael Zanchi not arrived. When this one left a devil in his stead in his own body, and one near of kin who made together with him the betrayal. But hitherward stretch out my hand forthwith, open my eyes, and open them I did not, and to be rude to him was courtesy. Ah, Genoese, ye men at variance with every virtue, full of every vice, wherefore are ye not scattered from the world? Oh, wow, I
Yeah, you
didn't
kept
even
going.
realize I'd gone
It's
past
it, just keep going. Just
Oops,
keep
my
finish it
mistake.
off.
All right. Sorry about that.
It's fine.
Genoese, ye men at variance, with every virtue full of vice, wherefore are ye not scattered from the world? For with the vilest spirit of Romagna I found you in one such, who for his deeds in soul already in cocytus bathes, and still above in my body seems alive.
Okay, so
Yeah, I totally
our
yeah, sorry about
overambition.
that. I completely missed.
It's okay. We all do
Sorry,
it on occasion.
I was into the reading. Like it was an interesting
Okay.
story he was telling, because this is saying that not everyone in hell is actually dead. Some of them have been possessed by demons, and their souls are in hell.
Well, okay. Yes and no. The spirit does not know of his body. But if you are going by Catholic dogmatism, even by 13th and 14th century Catholic dogmatism, if you were truly possessed by a demon, you were dead. That is the whole point to the exorcism prayers, is they are intercessory prayers for angels to go and retrieve your soul from hell and to banish the demon back.
Yep.
It is, you'd have to know your Latin and your exorcism prayers to know this, but yes, this is essentially what an exorcism is intercessory prayer trying to bring your soul back from hell. Because you are dead when your soul has left your body, because of the way that they viewed spirit in this time period being your breath. So if your breath leaves your body, you are dead. Your spirit leaves your body means your breath has left your body.
Yeah.
So it is one of those things. The other thing I will...
And apparently replaced with someone else's breath.
Well, depends on the time. That changes depending on when you get into like the demonology and the demon grimoires of Catholic dogmas. Some of them breathe. Some of them, that's how you test for them not being alive anymore, is that they don't breathe. There's a lot of wacky shit that goes into the rest of it.
Yeah, it and the thing is like while a lot of the stuff that deals with exorcisms is very consistent over the centuries, certain ways that people go about it are different, because there's there's like you know how the whole joke with like somebody's like half dead or what is it, almost dead. It's kind of like the same with possession. When someone is fully possessed, their soul is gone. Someone can be half possessed, or mostly possessed, or somewhat possessed, and that person is still quote unquote savable, but the person that is fully possessed is not.
Yes, he was just
right.
Mostly dead.
Yeah.
Um, and for those of you who don't get the fucking Princess Bride reference, go watch the damn movie.
You uncultured swine.
Okay, so now, as Ancom was reading, we got the name of this region of hell, and it's the Tolabea. And as these 2 points of the commentary point out, it could be talking about 2 different Ptolemies. I personally, based on context clues, the level of betrayal, etc., do not believe it is the form from the former page, the one about Simon. I believe it is about Pompey. And the reason I believe that this is so significant is because in this time period, Julius Caesar, Mark Antony, Ptolemy, Pompey, these are legendary figures. So much so that if they had not converted to Christianity, they may have been gods. They may have actually become Roman gods because of how they were viewed throughout the empire. If if the Roman Empire had not converted to Catholicism, because of that, and where he lived, and the fact that there's like multiple like motifs and frescoes dedicated to the stories of northern Egypt and Pompey and Mark Antony and all of those things, and the Emperor Ptolemy. I have the sneaking suspicion it is about Pompey and not about Simon. I could be wrong. The Ptolemies were not exactly known for their kindness after the first Ptolemy. His dynasty was let's just say it, insane. They were out of their fucking minds. But that's why I believe this is the case, is because of where that Dante, the author, has spent a majority of his life. He would have been seeing images of Pompeii and been reading and hearing vagabond stories about Pompey and Mark Antony and Julius Caesar and the conquest of Egypt. And like this would have been like bedtime stories to him.
Mm-hmm.
That's why I personally think it's there.
One thing I thought was really interesting is that he's saying such an advantage has this Ptolemaea. So this place is special because sometimes souls come here sooner than Atropos in motion sets it. Atropos, for those who aren't familiar with the deeper Greek mythology, is the fate that cuts the thread that ends life.
And for those of you who are unfamiliar with the decomposition of bodies, adipocere is what we call the stuff that comes out of you as you rot.
Yep. So basically, so he's saying that souls come here before the physical body dies.
Yeah. And that's why I say it would be arguable depending on time period, type of demon, type of grimoire that they're so. I don't know if they actually think the person's still alive and breathing or not up top, and it's just the soul down here. I just know that that if we go by dogma, just actual Catholic exorcism dogma, the soul has left the body and the body is dead.
There is a slight difference. The Catholic Church has basically said that the second a person dies, their soul doesn't necessarily leave their body immediately at the time of death. It's actually like an hour or two after the quoted time of death, and that all has to do with the sacrament of last rites.
Yeah, I know.
In order to complete last rites, you do it before they die. And then after they die, then they complete the sacrament of last rites, and they have a certain time period in which they have to complete the sacrament in order for the soul
I know, and I know that
indulgence is necessary.
And I know that practice is in place at this time period, but I also know that at this time period, exorcisms were viewed as so real that they had essentially an exorcism corps. Like they had their own fucking Marine Corps of exorcists. Like, So, like, I don't
mean,
know. It
if you
depends
want,
on what grimoire
hey,
they're reading out of.
hey, I'm just saying, like, even in this day and age, in the modern day, the Catholic Church still has an exorcist core.
No, they
It's
they have people who have trained in exorcisms. After the death of Father
yeah,
Amort, the last great exorcist is dead. There is no quote unquote practicing exorcist, as in that's their sole job. There's priests who can do them. There is no more
yeah.
exorcists, like, because Father Amort was the Pope's exorcist, and he was, unless Bob has made a new one, he was the last. And I haven't read about a new one. As far as I know, that would probably be news that hits these Catholic rags that I dig through for fucking news. But
Yeah, probably.
so I
But
don't
I
think
mean,
he
but this
has.
also has to, yeah, but this also has to deal with Bob. Bob's on a weird tick recently, especially with that co-redemptrix bullshit thingy that they repealed and whatnot. Um, it wouldn't surprise me if he didn't actually choose like a Pope's exorcist because of for some reason where they want to completely get rid of the idea of exorcism within the Catholic Church.
I like I said, I just haven't read it. I read about it, so I don't know if he has. But
I
if
mean,
he has, then there is one. But as far as I know, when Father Amort died, that was the end of the exorcist lines.
yeah, well, all I'm gonna say is that exorcism and the history traditions around exorcism have been around for millennia. So
Yeah, no, and this is just
I was
meaning
also
the death of the job exorcist, meaning this is their
yeah,
whole job
okay,
in the Catholic Church, as opposed to now it would be they'd still send somebody from the Vatican. It would probably be still some Catholic canon lawyer or some shit, but it's his job
right.
isn't exorcist like Amort's. If Amort didn't have an exorcism to do, he didn't have anything to do. Like that was his whole job.
Okay, I get what you're saying.
Yeah.
So
I don't think we're ever going to get rid of the tradition.
yeah,
Like, just to be fair, I don't think unless the Catholic Church dies out, I don't think that's going away anytime soon. And
nah.
let's see, we have exorcisms in Islam, exorcisms in Hindu. We have exorcisms in certain strains of Buddhism. Don't you guys have exorcism in Shinto too for the
Oh
Oni?
yeah, Shinto has crap tons of exorcisms.
Yeah, so like I don't think this is going
As a
to
matter
be
of fact,
a cultural practice that
like
disappears anytime soon.
like quite literally in Shinto, basically, if something bad happens, you need to send an omyoji to exorcise whatever the hell is going on because it's got to be like demonic in some way, shape, or form, and they have
Yeah,
to get rid of it.
and that's my point. It's like,
yeah, Shinto is a weird one for me because a religion that, if I remember you describing it to me correctly, has no gods, as it were, but still has demons. It's
no,
such a weird one
it
to me.
has gods. It just doesn't have gods in the
Yeah,
way
Oh, okay.
that Western centric people view gods in the creators of the universe gods. It has more like
Ah,
the Greek house gods.
yeah,
I see. Okay.
like Izanagi and Izakami are like would be considered the creator gods, and they only created Japan. To be fair,
And
they
everything
didn't
else would,
create
Okay.
yeah,
anything else.
yeah, they just
They
dragged the
they
islands of
only
Japan out of the
created
ocean.
Japan. Well, there's it's more than just that, but I'm not going to go
Yeah, I know.
to go
I'm
in
being brief for this.
detail.
I'm being brief for the sake of not going too far on a tangent.
So yeah, so basically in Shintoism, you could have a mountain be considered a god.
Mhm.
Like that joins the
Fuji is
pantheon.
a
A
god.
river can,
So
yeah, yeah.
so then what is a demon in Shinto? Like is it
Okay, so um this has some Buddhist influence in it. And basically, what it is that when somebody dies, However horrible that death was, the lingering hate or like the emotions around that stick with that person even after they die. And because they stick with that person after they die, that person enacts those evil things on the world around them until they're exorcised.
Okay.
Be right back.
Interesting.
So
It's
that's
a
the
little
best
bit. So it's a little more like a ghost.
kind of, yes. But the thing is that once you add Buddhism into the mix, you get a 6-tier like status of existence with reincarnation. So you start
Okay.
like human is basically at the dead center, and then after above human is like Bodhisattva, like the saints, and then above that would be like the Buddha, the gods, kami, and whatnot, and then below that you have like the animals, the the beasts. Underneath that you have like the ghosts, the yokai, the spirits that affect the world as it is, and then at the very bottom rung you have like your demons, like your oni and whatnot, that are at a bottom level of existence. With the addition of Buddhism into this, there's a level of redemption and a level of a fall, no matter which level you're at, except for the kami god status. So once you've basically reached enlightenment, you can't fall after that.
I did not realize how much Jujutsu Kaisen had taken from Buddhism and Shinto.
Right. No, because quite literally an Oni who is evil to his core can do something good, and it could affect him so that he's either like no longer a demon and can move up a rung on the redemption tier in reincarnation. So everybody who is existing according to like Buddhism, specifically Shinto Buddhism in Japan, is in this tier of moving up and down with their different reincarnations, depending on how well they live their life currently. Like however we live our life currently now will determine if we go up or go down in this tier system.
Gotcha.
Interesting. Okay.
Well, I will have to put us on the ending soon stream because I can't find one of my cats, so I got to go look for her. So we don't just cut off in the middle of a conversation. I want to let you guys finish, but I'm going to put us on the ending soon stream. I'm still going to be in here listening while I go look for her, but I don't want to just leave an empty chair and this.
I'll be right back. I got to go do another bio break because I have old man bladder right now. So
yep. Well, until next week, we'll catch you then. Have a good one.
Well, woke up late and missed the rapture bus, trying to Google exit how, but it's just us. Tour guides, dead dress code, flames and dust. Welcome to the pit. No refunds, no trust. I'm stuck in limbo, saw sin, but barred from grace. Scholars singing hymns, no heaven face. Dante's ghost just waiting, empty space. Here lust they whirl on endless breeze. Paolo and Francesca's kiss, accursed tease. All yearn for love and drop to their knees. Look at one sludge, kiss up the frights. Cerberus snarls at every bite. They gorge, they choke, stuck day and night. Lethal anchors with scales of gold. Plutus gone, involved so cold. Hands cramped from grasping, never sold. On the swamp of wrath, all rage is loud. Filippo Argenti fights in the crowd. Fury splashes can't drown them out. Heretics burn in tombs of flame. Far in their fire, they scream his name. Locked in denial, no one's to blame. Violence, rivers boil with blood. Minotaur hunts in muddy flood. Murderers scream, there's no more good. Fraudsters hide in the snakes below. Ulysses plotting his final woe. They bite, they twist, voices echo. go. At the bottom says frozen hate, Lucifer Jew. When traitors stay, Bruce Judas locked in ice, too late. So night stops deep through rage and sin. I'd scream to flee, but I'm late again. And missed the rapture bus, trying to Google eggs in hell, but it's just us. Tour guides, dead dress code, flames and dust. Welcome to the pit, no refunds, no trust. I'm stuck in limbo's lost sin, but barred from grace. Scholars singing hymns, no heaven face. Dante's ghost just wait in empty space. Here in lust they whirl on endless breeze. Paolo and Francesca's kiss, a cursed tease. All yearn for love and drop to their knees. Lucky one sludge, kiss up the fright. Cerberus snarls at every bite. They gorge, they choke, stuck day and night. Lethal anchors with scales of gold. Plutus God involved, so cold. Hands cramped from grasping, never sold. On the swamp of wrath, all rage is loud. Filippo Argenti fights in the crowd. Fury splashes can't drown them out. Heretics burn in tombs of flame. Far in their fire, they scream his name. Locked in denial, no one's to blame. Violence, rivers boil with blood. Minotaur hunts in muddy flood. Murderers scream, there's no more good. Fraudsters hide in the snakes below. Ulysses